Welcome to Let's Learn 2-Point Hospital. All right, hi, this is Attican and welcome back to 2-Point Hospital. We are continuing working on Mitton, our Mitton University Research Hospital. And the reason we're staying here so long is we want to really build it up into a first-class research hospital that can crank out research like it's crazy, because that's all part of our master plan for allowing us to support all the other hospitals in our system. So we're going to be coming back to Mitton frequently, even after we're finished building it up with this initial build. So we've got it up to a 1-star rating, and now we're working on 2-star, which means we have to train some more staff, and we have to generate some research points and cure 10 patients. So that's really pretty simple stuff. We've already got our research up and running. We're starting to train extra researchers, so we're going to have 5 researchers working in one research office to start with. And pardon me, and we're going to now move on out here and open up a new building. And the purpose of this building is actually going to be to allow us to really expand our research and be able to accommodate what we're going to plan to do with all these researchers that we're training. So we're going to take this little building here and dedicate it to research. And we're going to design it so that we have an excellent staff room and toilets in the middle, and then build our research around it so that it's extremely efficient for all the research doctors. Whenever they go toilet or to break, they have a very short walk out of their research lab, and then they can move straight into taking care of the break, and then straight back to their research lab. So I'm just doing my usual measuring to see what I've got to deal with to make sure this is going to work out. And this is a 12 by 12 square, so that means that if we put a research lab has to be a 4 by 3 or 3 by 4. So that's beautiful. That means that we can run 3 wide, have room for a hallway, and then have our toilet and staff room in the middle, and have a very efficient setup for our research. I just had to confirm it actually was a square building, so it really is 12 by 12. And you'll have to forgive me, as I said before, I'm a little slow whenever I'm pondering one of these buildings. I kind of take my time and plod through it and make sure I've got it the way I want it. So we're going to skip 4 spaces. That's 3 for the research lab and 1 for an aisle, and do the same thing and the other way so that we can anchor our toilet in the right spot. We'll put the door on the outside, because up here closer to us, as we're looking at it now, will be the staff room. And we'll set up our little 2 by 4 toilet, which will more than handle what's going on down here. And to set that up, you have to take that little the door and hold down Control key and move it over ever so slightly to create a little extra space for your hand dryer to go in there. And now you get this beautifully efficient 4-stall bathroom or toilet. Now we're going to put our staff room in right next to it. Again, we're using those middle squares. So basically what you have, when you have a 12 by 12 square like this, if you can put in buildings around it, or rooms around it that are at most 3 by 4 or 3 by 3, then you can literally go right in the middle and I've miscounted. I can see it there. I miscounted by one. Put the bathroom one over, but that's no big deal. I love how they've done this. You can just pick up your blueprint and move it over and have it where you want it. And I'm counting to make sure I got it correct in the other direction as well. So now we can anchor down our staff room and then grab the toilet, edit it, and scoot it over one. There we go. Now we've got a nice centered set, and we've got all that space around it to put in our research labs. And I confess, I don't know what I'm doing right at this moment. I don't know why it's taking so long to move ahead here. I'm certainly contemplating something, but I promise you I don't recall what it was. I'm sure it was brilliant, whatever it was. Oh, that's it. I was trying to decide, do I want to grab that room and bring it over here, or do I just want to start from scratch? So I decided to go ahead and grab it and bring it over, because again, the game is so flexible in terms of what you can do to edit your rooms. So we're going to scoot it up a little bit in one way and knock it off in the other, so that we have the right dimensions to fit and have the hallway in there. So I'm just trying to, now I haven't done one like this before, a research room with this kind of a shape. So I'm just kind of noodling through, how am I going to set this up. I want to get the, I'm also looking to see if I have any thing I can unlock with Kudosh to increase the research. And the only thing we have right now, the pod, which you have to have, and these desks. So we can throw some desks into this research lab, and each one of them gives us a bump on our research. And now I'm finally starting to punch in and realize, well, you know, you haven't even finished out your room yet. So we'll add on to the room there. And now I've decided that because of the shape that we're going to be dealing with, what I'm going to do is actually run this out and take half of that L. So in other words, this is going to become an L-shaped room. That gives us more space to put more desks in, and eventually we'll have other neat things to throw in here as well. But the main thing is we just want to have a good working space for 5 researchers in each room. We could, in fact, if we'd chosen, we could have made this one big giant room that just goes all the way around the toilet and staff room, and that would have been pretty cool. Actually, it would have looked really neat. The problem with it is that you can only put 5 researchers in each room. So I can either put 5 researchers in a room like this, or I could put 5 researchers in this gigantic room that goes all the way around it. So instead, what we're going to do is have 1, 2, 3. We're going to have 4 rooms going around that middle toilet and staff room. So now we've got a desk for everybody. They don't have to have one, but we've got one for them. And now that we've moved it over there, all those researchers should figure out that their home has moved, and they'll go on over to the other end of the hospital and start working in their brand new snazzy research facility.
We're sorry for the litter.
And you can see they're a little lost right now, but there they go. There they've solved it out. They've figured it out. Now they're heading over here to the other end of the hospital. Here we go. Now we've got a nice research facility. As I said, eventually, now we're not going to do it in this episode, but eventually we'll kind of pimp that room out, get some more goodies in there to give us more research points, and potentially add up to 3 more L-shaped rooms like that, so that we've got a huge research. Now we really don't. That might be overkill. May decide not to go that far, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We certainly won't need it to be a 3-star in this hospital, but this hospital is not just about this hospital. This particular one, Mitton, is about supplying research for our entire enterprise. You'll see that coming up very shortly. So we're continuing to focus on getting those GPs trained up. So now we're going to take one of our GPs and move that doctor up to level 3, and then we can use that level 3 doctor to train the rest of the doctors and let them train up as their slots open up for training. And we're going to go on the other side of that and think of our diagnostics, our nurses that run the diagnostics, and bump them up a level so that our diagnostics are stronger. So again, I kind of tend to focus on the diagnostics end of things, because if you have that, great, then everybody can move through quickly. And then once you get everybody moving through quickly, all your patients, then you can improve your treatment capabilities, and then you've got yourself a winner. You've got yourself a hospital that really works. So what we're going to do here is research the injection room, and we're going to tend to research all the new technologies that are out there as far as treatments and diagnostics, and then we'll switch over into a new focus after that.
Maintenance announcement. Toilets need routine servicing.
And right here, I'm just looking for opportunities to upgrade, and I'll have to figure this out, but I don't think there's a view that tells me
Looks like the healthcare
all the
branch of the
machines that
holistics
are
company, known to some as Hemp, is in
eligible
trouble
to be
again.
upgraded at a given
Apparently,
point in time.
Elixir,
I wish
your latest
we had such
product,
a
which
view
claims
because
to cure all
it's really
ills,
kind of a pain.
is
When
in
you go
fact
through and
nothing
click
but
them, I will
pine-scented
invariably
prune juice.
pick them up by mistake.
Well, I guess
and
it
then
should
have to
cure
plump
one
them
ill
back
at
down,
least.
and it's just a pain. So I'd love to know for sure which ones are eligible for upgrade so I can find them easily. If you get a big enough hospital, it's a pain. When you only got 2 or 3 rooms, it's no big deal. But a big enough hospital, it's kind of hard to find them. But hey, no big deal. Here comes another one of those challenges where we get a lot of those mock stars coming in. That's just again, that's just free money because it's patients that you can treat that don't have to go through the diagnosis, so they don't gum up your diagnostics. They just go straight to the treatment and you deal with them. And as I've said before, if you're able to do it well and get half or more of them, you get a bonus to your rep. If you fail and you don't quite hit the half, well, you still can charge them for the treatment, so you're still getting what you want. So there, we've already finished our injection room because we had somebody. We did it because we had somebody who needed it, and you can see how fast we were able to do the injection room research. Now we can go ahead and build out an injection room up here in this corner, and might as well make it 4x4 and use up that space, even though it doesn't take that big of a room for the injections. We'll set it up so the patient can come straight in and get on that table. There we go. Now the patient can come in the door and just go straight to the table. Minimal steps. That'll make it as efficient as possible. If we have a machine, we want a fire extinguisher, and then we'll build the room up. We'll figure out kind of a close point to where the, in this case, nurse will be working, and we will set up those things to support the nurse nearby. Now the plants actually, I put the plants in the corner just because they look better. This is kind of a trade-off between looks and efficiency, but really that plant should be right over there with the water and the sweets, because the nurse will tend to go over and smell the flowers and enjoy the flowers or the plant. And if he or she goes, all the way over to a corner to the plant, that's just more steps they have to take to go back to when a patient comes in. Not the world's biggest deal, but if you're really trying to be efficient, you really need to control where your staffs and your patients are going to end up going and what path they're going to take to get there. So now we've got the money, so we're starting to build out level 5 rooms for all of them, and over time we'll slowly go back and upgrade the earlier built rooms to a level 5. And you'll notice our research lab, as soon as we got the injection finished, we switched right back over to the training. So we're researching research, in effect. We're researching the training for research so that we can continually level up our researchers, which just makes them more efficient, makes them able to generate the research points at a faster pace, and allows us to complete research
You're
more
listening
quickly,
to
get
Harrison
the buildings
Wolf
out there for treatment
on
more
2
quickly.
Point Radio.
And again,
I went to the
don't mean
Cirque
to
du
tease you, but
Parfait
eventually you'll see
recently.
what it
I was
really does for us
impressed
in
by
terms of
how
our
experimental
overall
the acts were, till I realized I was facing the wrong way and just
So
looking
you
at
can
the
see we
tent
had a
wall.
little queue there on our
Training
psychiatry
course
because we had that big
completed.
group come in, but we're already whittling it down to a reasonable size. And here we're going to, now that we've got that injection lab, we need to get some nurses trained on injection administration, so we have excellence there as well. So we'll get that done now. And we just stay in this loop of train and research, train and research. Improve the hospital through training and through the quality of our staff, and over time improve the hospital through upgrading rooms and keep going. Interesting that our review, we were considered incredibly mediocre. That falls under the who cares category for me right now. Probably because we don't have all the attractiveness out there. We've got a very plain Jane hospital, so there's nothing.
End of year approaching.
We only have a few level 5 rooms at this point, and hallways are real plain. There's no flowers in the hallways or any of that kind of neat stuff. So here we go with our cycle of we're going to train up our researchers to the next highest level. So we're going to bring in outside consultant to do that training for us, and then we'll use those newly trained people to train our other researchers and keep that cycle going. And now that we've finished the research on the research, we're going to go right back and do it again. And this time we're going to research level 3. Actually, did we pick? I take that back. We picked fluid analysis. That's what I was saying. We're going to kind of try to get all the new diagnostics and all the new technologies, all the new treatments that we can get as soon as they pop up, so they're available to us, which will in turn just make our diagnostic capability and our treatments that much better in the hospital. And of course, we'll pay benefits in every hospital that we own.
Maintenance needed in staff room.
The world-renowned Cirque du Parfait is no longer under investigation. So come experience the magic, wonder and terror of our glass-boned acrobats and face-eating clowns. It's a parfait day at the circus for everyone.
More 2 Point, more often. This is 2 Point Radio.
Maintenance announcement. Automated snack machines need restocking
And
manually.
we didn't have any janitors that could stop, capture a ghost, so we got one specifically with that skill set, and we saw they just captured one for us. So we've got to clean up those ghosts, because the ghosts scare the patients. I don't know if that really has an effect. Sometimes it makes them run fast, and they just run to their appointment faster, so maybe it's a good thing to have ghosts. But what it does do for sure is make a mess, so we want to get rid of them. Plus, they're just irritating. and we saw yet another illness pop up with a treatment in psychiatry. So we're starting to see a trend here in this hospital that there's a lot of psychiatric work to do. So we want to get ahead of that and bring in, get a couple more people trained in psychiatry. So we're going to use one of our existing psychiatrists to train 2 more psychiatrists. So we'll have a total of 4 on staff, and that'll give us a lot more capability to support and treat all the different illnesses that are coming through of a psychiatric nature. And there we just had our research level 2 training completed. Now we can go down here and look for research level 2 and find our 2 remaining staff that have opened slots for that, and take one of our researchers who just got trained. They'll go off and do basically a freebie class because they'll go off and do the training for research 2, and now we'll have 4 of our staff at research level 2. So that loop just keeps continuing until we loop them all up to level 5.
Doctor required in psychiatry.
Now I want to go ahead and upgrade the staff room for our researchers, and it's also serving that kind of left side of that the general diagnostics area as well. But we want to give them a really strong staff room, and level 5, because that's where everybody ends up at some point in that staff room, and it's great. You get a lot of bang for your buck by having a level 5 staff room. We want to make sure we have drinks and food nearby as well, so that we don't have problems with hunger or thirst with our research teams. So we're going to kind of mirror these. We're going to put food and drink on either end of our little break room pod here, if you want to think of it that way. And I'm doing something here that's a little dangerous. I contemplated putting those drinks inside the break room, and certainly you can do that, but decided I'd rather just have them on the outside. But it's a little dangerous to be in one room and try to put stuff in another. You can certainly do it, but you do have to proceed with caution. So I'm just going to put water fountain and sweets as food and drink inside the break room itself, and we'll have the food and drink machines on the outside. And we haven't opened up with the kudosh yet the nicer snacks and drinks that have some additional benefits. We'll get to those in a little while. Video too. We'll start seeing those pop up. Now that punching bag is tempting right now because it actually gives you happiness. So by taking out your frustration on a punching bag, you can increase your happiness, which is, kind of a key thing to have for everybody, really. But decided not to grab it yet. We'll just go ahead and upgrade the room with the gold stars. There's specific things I'm looking for the next few kudosh payments, if you will, to cash in our kudosh. So we'll deal with that in probably next episode or the one right after that. I'm not sure. All right, so let's wrap up this episode. We have continued to move toward our 2-star rating. We're well on the way, almost there. And the big thing we've done, though, is really upgrade our research capabilities and get our researchers leveled up so that they're more effective. And we've started that cycle of continuing to research training and research levels so that we are leveling up our researchers and giving them better and better facilities. And we've got the infrastructure in place here to expand if we want to have even more research rooms, super efficient setup here where they can go take breaks and get right back to work. And so we should be in great shape on research, which of course for me is the whole purpose of this hospital, is to be a world-class research facility. So hope you found something useful out of that one, and I hope to see you in our next one when we finish off getting Mitton to the 2-star level. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next 2-Point Hospital video. Thank you.